forgiveness. If you've never walked away, but this is my story. I'm a life made new. I'm the one you've set free. Oh, I have found a friend in Jesus. He is everything to me. I have found a friend in Jesus. Yes, He is my everything. And I found a shepherd who always keeps me safe. And I found a healer who knows my every pain. This is my story of redeeming love. I've come to know Him well. I have found a friend in Jesus. He is everything to me. I have found a friend in Jesus. Yes, He is my everything. Oh, I have found a friend in Jesus. He is everything to me. I have found a friend in Jesus. Yes, He is my everything. Oh. He walks with me. He talks with me. He tells me I am His own. The joy we share, what else compares? It's like nothing I've ever known. Oh, when He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own. The joy we share, what else compares? It's like nothing I've ever known. And I can't believe it. No, I can't believe it. Oh, I have found a friend in Jesus. He is everything to me. And I have found a friend in Jesus. Yes, He is my everything. Oh, I have found a friend in Jesus. He is everything to me. I have found a friend in Jesus. Yes, He is my everything.
Good evening and welcome. We are so glad that you are here. If this is your first time, we want to say a special welcome to you. And this service is much, much different than any other service that we have throughout the year. It is one of my favorite services, but it is also a very heavy service. Anybody can show up for a party, right? And that's what Easter is. It is a party to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. That's not what tonight is about. Tonight is an invitation for us to sit with our brokenness, to sit with the ways that we have discovered that we can be part of the problem and just settle in and see what God has to say. Throughout the evening, the moments will be getting darker and darker. And so if you have a kiddo that is 5th grade and under, they are more than welcome to stay. But if you feel like your kiddo is sensitive to intensity and loud noises and darkness, there's actually an experience that they are welcome to go be a part of right now for our 5th and under kiddos. And you can take them to do that. But we also want them here as well. You get to decide. At the end of service, most of you received a plank when you came in the door. And this plank is something that you can write how you may be getting in the way. And we all get in our own way so often. But you can write how you are getting in the way of having the relationship with God that you want to have. At the end of service, you will be invited to surrender and cast these into the fire pits that you see right outside. And so if you didn't get one of these, you can get one as soon as you leave. But yes, this is a service of heaviness, of intensity, and we've got a couple of focal points that we really want you to just lean into. And the first is you're going to see these candles. There's going to be moments of silence that each one of these candles will be extinguished through the night. The last one is the Christ candle. And as these lights dim, be thinking about how do you and I contribute to the darkness in the world? The next thing we invite you to focus on is you're going to hear stories tonight from those that were closest to Jesus right before Jesus hung on the cross, one of which was watching it happen. You and I can all get in the way. So as you listen to these stories, see which one you most identify with, because each one of us have come here tonight to hear something new from God, but we don't want to skip over the discomfort and skip over the difficult moments of life. We want to settle in and see what God has to say. And he has something to say to each one of us here. Let's pray. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, because I am the problem.
The most divine activity a person can participate in is to create. Every one of us is made in the image of God, the Almighty Creator, the one who creates, the one who calls us, every one of us, to do the same. To take the divine elements of the created world and arrange them in new and wonderful possibilities. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And then we find creative ways to use that light to point the way for people to find God. God made the heavens and the earth, the land and the seas. And then we move through the created world in absolute awe and wonder of God's creation, experiencing the presence of God in the most euphoric way, pushing our senses to the brink of divine indulgence. Seeing God's masterpiece as the snow blankets the mountaintops, smelling the flowers return to life as spring approaches, feeling the sand as we walk barefoot on the shore as the tide approaches us, hearing the wind blow through the trees and the leaves crunch as the world moves towards harvest. And it is very good. But then each one of us turns the page. Genesis 3, the fall, plays out in real time for each of us. Instead of participating in the creating act of God, we relegate ourselves to the devilish act of destruction. Arrogance, insecurity, pride, jealousy, fear, anger, and this beautiful creation shattered, broken, all because of one word: selfishness. And it happens so silently in the dead of night while the rest of the world sleeps. And we find ourselves waking up to a world that horrifies us, thinking all the while, someone else is the root of destruction, not me. I'm not the problem. We can look to Peter and say, well, I wasn't the one who denied Jesus when it mattered most. We can look to Judas and say, I wasn't the one who betrayed Jesus. We could look to Pilate and say, I wasn't the one who sentenced Jesus to death. We could look to the crowd and say, I wasn't the one who cheered on the death of Jesus. But if we truly want to understand the power of Good Friday, to return to the divine activity of creation, then we have to start asking ourselves a different question. As we stand in horror of a world that would crucify the perfect embodiment of love, and we want to have any hope on the other side of the cross, before we make it to the empty tomb, with sorrow, we have to painfully look at the cross and ask the question, am I the problem?
We never think we are the false prophets. At most, we think we have been betrayed, that we are the innocent sheep lured into some tragic reality by a ferocious wolf. We never default to us being wrong, and we craft a number of ways to prove we are not. Meet Judas.
This man's hands were withered, shriveled, deformed. Everybody could see it. And this was the Sabbath day. The one day we're not supposed to do work in the temple. The Pharisees are in the temple when Jesus does the unthinkable. He does the one thing that they are baiting him into doing just so that they can condemn him. He heals that man on the Sabbath day, and he doesn't cower, so confident in his purpose and role. Not to mention the fact that none of us could have done that. To heal that man, forget it. He did the miraculous in front of the very people who could condemn him and cut him off. And he did it in a way that allowed them to come face to face with their own ridiculousness. Now, I've been around powerful people before, but this was a different kind of power. Why wouldn't I follow this man? He's courageous and unwavering in the face of judgment and condemnation. Wouldn't you follow someone like that? There was this one time, the Pharisees and the Herodians come to Jesus asking about taxes, asking who we should pay taxes to. Now, this is an obvious trap. If he says Caesar, the Pharisees are there to call him out in front of everybody. But if he says not to pay them, they're going to turn him in for insurrection. This was an impossible scenario. Yet, in just a few words, he reveals their empty schemes for what they truly are and puts them in their place again. Simply said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, but give to God what is God's. Now that's power. You see, the Pharisees, in all their rules and truth-keeping, they are the false prophets we're supposed to be wary of. They are the wolves in sheep's clothing, consistently being put in their place by the good shepherd. But then And Jesus starts talking about not being here anymore. I hadn't thought of that, and that messed me up. You see, before Jesus, the Pharisees were the big dogs. They were sitting at the top, and I was at the bottom of the heap. And I did not want to go back there again. I didn't want to live that life again. I can't. People worship Jesus. And as hard as it is sometimes, the power he displays is mind-blowing. I can't go back to the way things were. I just won't. What's going to happen to us? What's going to happen to me? I just can't go back to the way things were before. I won't. So I came up with my own plan. I've seen how Jesus works. I could do my own thing, right? But I had to have a plan to do so. So I did. I went to the one place that I could get top dollar for Jesus. The high priests. I mean, come on. They're the ones that are the most threatened by him. And they're the ones that would gain the most if he were gone. And since he's planning on leaving anyway, this was my ticket, right? But I struggled. I would have to sell out my friend. The one who changed my life. The one who deconstructed power in every way that we know it. How would I do this? But if Jesus is leaving, I have to take care of myself. If he's not going to help take care of me, I have to take care of myself. I can't count on Jesus or the Pharisees. My traditions won't save me or my friends. The only thing I can count on is me. Me. I've got nobody else. The only thing I have is me. And this is his fault. Jesus' fault. I had no choice. And you can't judge me. What would any of you have done in my position? Do you know what it's like to be at the bottom of society? Do you know how it feels to be overlooked and undervalued? Do you have any idea what it's like to be utterly powerless and then in the presence of miraculous power? I had to do what I had to do, and you can't judge me. I thought I had no choice. But when we entered the garden, I knew then, in spite of all my fears and worries, there was the man who changed my life. He gave me a place at his table. I knew then he wasn't the problem.
so good to me. When I felt no worth, yes, you paid it all for me. 'Cause you have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
Peter is in denial not only of Jesus, but of everything Jesus said would happen. Jesus' end, his death, the crucifixion. Peter was in denial of it all. As we meet him, think about a moment where you have drifted away from something important, but you don't know it until it hits you in the face. You know the moment when it happens too, you're immediately trying to pinpoint where you got off track, when you got off track, because surely it was somebody else or something else that charmed you into this place of denial. This is Peter.
What just happened? I know who Jesus is. He's my friend. Why did I say I didn't know him? I didn't mean it. I mean, I know him better than anyone. How did I even get here? How? I remember when it all began. I was with Andrew, James, and John. We were fishing, casting our nets, something we did every day. Any hope we had of a higher calling we thought had passed us by, but we were content to just cast our nets. And then this man came to us. He spoke with conviction and authority. And Jesus said, "Come, follow me, and I'll make you fishermen of men." What did that even mean? A rabbi calling fishermen. Why did he want us? I mean, wasn't there someone better? But we followed because surely there was something more to this life than just casting our nets day in and day out. I mean, finally, we had a purpose, a real purpose. And any doubt we had about who he was, he quickly put to rest. My mother-in-law had been sick for a while, had a fever. And Jesus comes to see her, and after just one meeting with Jesus, her fever's gone. I know who Jesus is. I know who he is and what he's capable of. He's the guy that took a few fish, 5 loaves of bread, and fed 5,000 people. I know who Jesus is. One time, I saw him walking on water. We're in a boat, surrounded by a storm, and there Jesus is, walking on water. He even called me out of the boat to come see him, and I did. I didn't think. He called, and I went. One time he asked me, "Who do you say that I am?" I knew immediately, you are the Messiah, the anointed one, the one God sent to save us all. And I'm the only one that answered because I know who Jesus is. He healed Lazarus, Jairus' daughter, the blind man, the lame, the demoniac. There has never been a power that Jesus has met that he hasn't overcome. There's never been a situation he's been in he hasn't overcome. He's unstoppable. I know who Jesus is, but does he? When the soldiers came to arrest him, he was different, like he'd forgotten his own strength. I wanted to help, so I grabbed a sword and I swung. A fisherman and a sword. I don't know why. I cut someone. I cut his ear right off. I didn't think, I just acted. It seemed like the right thing to do. But deep down inside, I knew that if I got in trouble, Jesus would save me. Because that's who he is. I know who he is. He said, put away the sword. And he healed the guy that I cut. The same guy who came to take him away. So they did. They took him away. They took Jesus away. He could have done something. Why didn't he do something? Won't we receive what we ask for, huh? If we ask, if we knock, won't it be answered? I knew what to ask for. The courage to fight for my friend. And for Jesus to fight back for us. Why didn't he fight? He saved so many people. Why didn't he save himself? What am I going to do now? I know who Jesus is. I know who he is, but why didn't he do something? We wouldn't be here in this situation if he had just done something. I know who he is. He's Jesus the Messiah. What is wrong with me? Why did I say that? Why did I deny him? I know who Jesus is. He's my friend. My friend. And I failed him. And now he's gone. What am I going to do now? Why did I deny him?
Malchus sees the disciples of Jesus as foolish, not able to hear the words of the prophets and teachers. He He thinks the disciples are unable to tell the difference between who is a true prophet and a false prophet. He believes he is on the side that is telling the truth and the disciples are not. He has to ask himself if he heard what he heard correctly, or was his understanding actually the one that was incorrect?
I keep hearing this voice inside my head. And it hasn't stopped since we left the garden. I mean, after we arrested Jesus, after the chaos, after the incident, I mean, I've heard these words before. Tonight's just different. Tonight's coming from a different voice. It's just a way I've never heard before. I've always been a fighter. Okay, ever since I can remember growing up, there was a fight going down, you'd find me right in the middle of it. First to defend, first to move. I mean, I guess that's why I was chosen to follow the high priest. I mean, you can't be afraid of a fight. In my position in Jerusalem, I mean, there's no place for fear, okay? You're dealing with Romans, you're dealing with politicians, the other religious leaders. I mean, there's no place for fear when you're in a position like mine. And there's just something about the position that you have to have the same conviction as the one who's calling you to follow. I mean, I remember when I first heard the words, it was right after a fight. I was dusting myself off, and I hear a voice say, "You, come, follow me." I look up, and there's Caiaphas, the high priest. I mean, he's the wealthiest Sadducee in all of Jerusalem, calling me to follow him. I mean, of course I'd go. I'd be a fool not to. I mean, and ever since, I've been in the circle of power for leadership, and it's all because of him. I mean, I've had some pretty powerful people give me some pretty powerful orders, okay? You cannot question when you have the same convictions. You cannot question when all your goals are aligned. So when Caiaphas asked me to go handle this situation with these fishermen, these tax collectors, this Jewish carpenter pretending to be a rabbi, of course I go. I mean, the carpenter was wrong, and he needed to be held accountable. Just wasn't expecting a struggle. I mean, they're fishermen, and I'm a fighter. I just don't know where things went wrong. I mean, I knew what I had to do. I had my orders, and that was to arrest Jesus. So I go. And as soon as I reach out, there's just this silence. I mean, the first thing I know, I'm grabbing after Jesus to arrest him, and the next, he's embracing me, he's healing me. I mean, nothing went as I had planned. I mean, there's just this silence, it's just deafening. Through it all, this chaos, I just keep hearing this voice. "Look up, Malchus, follow me." Where is this voice coming from? I feel it coming from this carpenter, but there's no words coming out of his mouth. It's just silence except for his voice. "Malchus, look up, follow me." Now I just have this dilemma. I have this man. I mean, first off, why is he calling me? Why does he need me? I was there to arrest him, and he knew it, so why does he need me? Clearly, he wasn't looking for a fight, so why would he need me? Why me? I come back to this dilemma. I have two men asking me to follow them. I have one hand is Caiaphas. He's calling me with his words and his orders, and this other man, this carpenter, this undeniable forgiveness despite of what I just did. Caiaphas, he's literally losing his mind. He's ripping his clothes. He's yelling at this man who he says is a threat. How is he a threat? I don't see it. These people, they're spitting on him. They're mocking him. They're beating him, and he just stands there. And all this chaos, I just keep hearing his voice. Malchus, look up, follow me. I never questioned what was being asked of me. I never processed what I was doing. It's because of where the orders were coming from. It's because of who was asking me to do it. I thought I knew the truth. I thought I could tell the difference between a false prophet and the truth. The truth was that this fisherman, these tax collectors, this false carpenter, this rabbi pretending to be one, he was the one who was jeopardizing the truth. I knew it. I was sure of it. But what if I'm wrong? What if I've been listening to the wrong voice, following the wrong person? I mean, what? Is it me? Am I the problem? Am I the one who's being delusioned by a false prophet?
My sin, oh, the bliss of this glorious thought. My sin, not in part, but the whole. He's nailed to the cross, and I bear it no more. Even so, it is well with my soul. It is well.
It is well
with my soul.
with my soul.
It is well. It is well with my soul.
Barabbas, the notorious offender. He thinks there is only one way to restore his people, Israel, to her former glory, and that is to take on the religious elite in Rome. This is his reality. But then he encounters Jesus in his nonviolent, submissive approach to revolution. He has to wrestle with his observation that Jesus is doing exactly what Barabbas wanted to do. He's just doing it in a very different way. Which way is right? More importantly, why would the crowd release and free the one who attacked them instead of a nonviolent Jesus who won't even raise his voice to them?
The Day of Atonement. The one day out of the year when our people will take 2 goats to stand in the gap for their sins. they cast lots to see which one will be set free, which will be sent to the slaughter. That's what today felt like. A messed up, deranged Day of Atonement. They set me free. These people. They're like little lost sheep without a shepherd, just blindly following each other, not asking questions, living their pathetic, narrow-minded little lives. You know, my revolution was supposed to put an end to all of this madness. No more being owned by Rome. No more living on the margins of society while the religious elite get wealthy off the oppression of my people. No more pushing us around, taking what little we have so the rich can get even richer. No more of that madness. We will fight and we would win. We didn't have the muscle to make it happen. It will happen someday soon. But today, today, the very people who put me in jail were the same ones that were shouting for my freedom. They just kept shouting my name. Barabbas, Barabbas, give us Barabbas, to set me free. Now, listen, I have zero illusions here, all right? These people don't love me. I'm not their hero. They just don't know how to think for themselves. They're not worth fighting for. They're certainly not worth dying for. But that other prisoner, that rabbi, now he was interesting. It's evident that he's unmoved from his principles, while everyone else is so easily swayed. No, he's not persuaded. He's not tempted. He's not pulled off course. He's interesting. He would be worth following. And he is disrupting the status quo the way I wanted to. But he's not doing it the right way. Or at least he's not doing it the way I saw it going down, with his peaceful, passive resistance. It's almost, you know what it's like? It's almost like he's trying to teach them something. Teach me something? Something that just doesn't... Look, why would you willingly serve those people? I mean, I know you can see them for what they are. I know you can see how pathetic their shallow little lives are. I mean, look, they set me free and sent you to the slaughter. Isn't it obvious what you should do? Abandon them. Just like they abandoned you. Get away and live to fight another day. I mean, tell me, what compels a man to stand there in silence and not defend himself? I mean, I stood in front of those people covered in their blood, and I sneered at them and I spat at them, and they set me free. While you stand there, standing in front of them covered in your blood, and I mean, why don't you speak up for yourself? Speak in your own defense. Why don't you speak out against this injustice? You could do so much more for our people if you'd abandon this madness. Speak up, speak out, show them that they're wrong, show them that they're on the wrong side of this fight. Put them in their place. You're perfectly positioned to put them in their place. You're standing in front of them in chains, and they should be crawling at your feet. Is this really your plan? To respond to blindness and ignorance with what? Peace? Let me tell you something. Peace will resolve nothing. Peace will ignite nothing. It's like I said earlier. He won't be pulled off course. He won't be persuaded. He won't be tempted. If I didn't know any better, I'd almost think, no. Jesus, do you care for them? Do you love them? I hate them. They're the reason that our people the revolution, they're oppressing us and holding us back and taking, and they're and so, here we are. I'm covered in their blood, and all I have left in me is hate. And you're covered in your blood, and somehow you're full of love. Did I miss something somewhere along the way? What do you see that I don't?
He walks with me, talks with me, he tells me I am his own. The joy we share, what else compares? It's like nothing I've ever known. Oh, when he walks with me, he talks with me, he tells me I am his own. The joy we share, what else compares? It's like nothing I've ever known. And I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I have found a friend in Jesus. He is everything to me. I have found a friend in Jesus. Yes, he's my everything. Oh, I have found a friend in Jesus. He is everything to me. I have found a friend in Jesus. Yes, he is my everything.
As the centurion, he knew what real power looked like and exactly when and how to wield it. He has been a part of many crucifixions and understands the power play it shows. Those who were crucified were killed in the most humiliating way to let the world know who had the power: Caesar, Pilate, and the centurion. But the last few hours changed everything for this soldier, completely shattering his worldview. As he looked upon the death of Jesus, and more importantly, the manner in which he took it on, the centurion was left with the question: who really had the power? The one who drove the nails, or the one who bore the nails?
I'm the centurion. When I speak, people take action. When I command, my men follow. And they do it because they know who I represent. I represent Pilate. And Pilate represents Tiberius, son of Augustus Caesar. Caesar, the son of a god, Julius Caesar. I'm on the side of the son of a god, exacting power that can only be divinely given. For over 80 years, Rome has been at war with itself, pulling at the fabric of its own parachute. But now, because of Augustus Caesar, we have a time of peace. And my men understand what's at stake: the peace of Rome. We are all loyal to the son of a god, Augustus Caesar. Some would tell me that I'm destined for a life in Hades. I've overseen hundreds of crucifixions, watched thousands die, hundreds and hundreds of crucifixions. But this one, you see, usually there's this script. It plays out each time, without fail, always on repeat. First, there's screaming. Always screaming. A desperate plea for their lives. Undoubtedly screaming the same things that they've said over and over again, only to find themselves at the mercy of their own judgment. Screams. There's always screams. But then, the script shifts when they realize their plea is falling on deaf ears. There's always this clear shift. They start blaming Rome, threatening Rome. Usually the threat is that Rome will burn. And ironically, as they hang there to die, they curse the crowd with their own gruesome death. The judge cursing the ones who pass the judgment. And then I see them submit to this inner defeat, and I hear them say time and time again that this life is pointless. And the truth is life is vanity. No matter how we die, we all die. But for the last 6 hours, I got to witness humanity in its purest form. I saw forgiveness, compassion, conviction, restraint in the most powerful way. You see, I always thought of strength as the ability to overpower an enemy, to swing the club faster, or thrust the sword deeper. But for these last few hours, this man has taught me something new about strength. I mean, to look into the eyes of his executioner moments before his execution and offer me forgiveness? None of this makes sense. Before today, everything made perfect sense. Rome was the king and everyone else was just a pawn in this game. How is it that in this moment of his death, I'm wondering, is there something more at play? And is it possible that maybe Rome's the pawn? I mean, what kind of man offers compassion at the hand of cruelty? In his own moment of dire need, what kind of man has anything to offer others? None of this makes sense, but for the last few hours, the time when the sun should be shining bright, it's as dark as night. It's suffocating darkness. All I can sense is that whatever we've done in these last few hours, it's not right. I know it. Even though it looks different than it ever has, somehow, all I can sense is that what we've done here today, it's not right. But I'm not built to question orders. My ability hinges on my loyalty to what I've been told. And I'm good at this because I believe the orders that I have. To the depths of who I am, I have always believed with every fiber of my being that what I've been told is right. But then this man, when he says, "It is finished," what does he mean? Why am I curious? Where do these questions come from? He's on the cross and I'm down here. The power play that we use the crucifixion for, it's not working. And somehow he's the one that's in control. These people, they keep yelling at him and cursing at him. Does no one see what I see in this man? Everything I know is being ripped at the seams. The way I understand power is completely unraveling. Am I the only one seeing this? And if I'm the only one seeing it, am I seeing it wrong? No, I'm not wrong. I know it. This man's fate is sealed. How can this crowd still thirst for more blood? How can you stand there and watch an innocent man bleed to death like a bunch of vultures, waiting in greedy anticipation for the suffering of another to fill some sort of desire or void in you? You're disgusting! What's wrong with you? I have to do something about this, something different. But what can I do? I have to go. Wait. This man. He's praying. He's praying to his Father? That's what it sounds like, but through all this noise, all this chaos, this storm, everything that's going around us, he's praying. It's a soft voice. Am I the only one that can hear him? Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. And immediately, it sounds like the earth is being ripped in half. This sound is new to me. This man's innocence, his death, his father, this earthquake. It's all proof. And it's all the proof I need. Surely, this man was the Son of God.
I never lose the wonder of this gospel mystery. From the heavens came a Savior. From the ground arose a King. Every day is born in darkness. Every winter yields to spring. Let us speak of resurrection, even in the suffering. You can do anything. You can do anything. My eyes will see your glory. My eyes will see your glory. You can do anything. You can do anything. My eyes will see your glory. My eyes will see your glory.
For 6 weeks, 40 days, we have been wrestling with the question, am I the problem? How have I, by my life, crucified Jesus himself? Do I judge others? Do I focus on the speck in their eyes while avoiding the plank in my own? Do I seek everything? Money, power, attention, affirmation, praise first before I seek God? Do I push my pearls of wisdom and advice and truth even when it's unsolicited by the people I say I love and call friend? Do I just pray to God out of emergencies, expecting God to perform miraculous outcomes just according to my favor, and when God doesn't, I turn away and I say, God is the problem? Do I do unto others as they have done to me? Do I do unto others as my parents and my grandparents and my ex-spouse, how they did unto me? Do I do unto others before they do unto me? I know we're eager to get to the empty tomb. We're ready for Easter. But first, we have to answer the question. And I think we all know the answer. Yes, God, I am the problem. I crucify you daily. So, before we get to the empty tomb, we have to do something. And that is, as you leave tonight, you will take your plank, which represents your sin, your issue, your battle, and place it in one of the fire pits outside the doors. And when you do, I invite you to repeat this prayer. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me. I am the problem. Say it with me. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me. I am the problem. One more time. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, the problem.